Yeah, so we need to talk about something called something called Power Query, and there's a data here I got from a guy called Chando, and yeah, okay, yeah. So this data from Chando. Uh, so we want to check. This is the same one that we were using yesterday. I don't know whether we used the one that we had already cleaned. Yeah, but this now looks a little bit better. So we could not delete this because it might affect us when uploading it to Power Query. Yeah, so this is it. And yesterday we introduced Power Query Editor as it's an embedded tool that helps in easing the process of or easing the process of data cleaning, right? Um, so let's check here. If you come to insert, not really insert, sorry, but data, you'll find things in this section where there's get transformed, there's connections, and then there is yeah. So let's think of it: connections, and then get transform, and then get data, or maybe get external data. So if you want to go through all those things that we did, so for example, we split this column, employee ID. We also did the flash fill, right? We also changed the data formats. You could see these dates are in different formats. So we changed it, but mine had some issues, but I hope it's going to work in when in yeah, you could still see it's still maintaining. Ah, well, yeah. So, but I hope it is going to work when we are using the Power Query editor. Yeah, we also used something called text to column, which is also just another way of splitting your column. So, for example, if you want to split this, or you want to split what else? We may want to split this work location. Something else that we did, of course, Hillary has also mentioned it, but you could also be filling the empty spaces using this functionality here, find and replace. So if it finds an empty space, maybe it replaces it with prefer not to say, right? Because there are some people might prefer not to say what their gender is. I mean, we are living in a world where somebody can identify as anything. So identify as a lion. And, so if you call the person male, they'll box you. Yeah. So you could say that these gaps could be filled by prefer not to say. Yeah. So that is it. Um, Something else that we did yesterday. Yeah, we tried to understand if somebody is a full-time employee or a part-time employee based on this FTE. So if it is one, then it means that the person is a full-time, right? If this one, if it's less than one, then it's a part-time, right? Something else. What else did we do? Yeah, of course, after splitting the names, we also did split names here. So all that thing. So something that we did not check was duplicates. Yeah, and if you check here under data, there is a functionality here that is called remove duplicates. Yeah, yeah. But before that, we also mentioned that you could highlight this and do a filter. After doing a filter, and maybe you want to use this column as part of checking duplicates, so that you could let's say sort and filter. Let's check if sort and filter Z to A is going to work. Yeah, so that you check if there are numbers that are repeating themselves in this case, right? Yeah, which will be a very laborious task for you to do. For example, if you can check here, you can see this information is a duplicate. Yeah. So we have Linda Guillet, Guillet, yeah, male, Lindy, sorry. And then so all the information has been repeated. Even if you come to this one, Gilles, whatever, Jacquet. So the information has also been repeated. So that means that they are quite duplicates. If you check here also, they are duplicates here. Tadio, Odrit, we have Barry Tofano, we have Jenny Wolverson, Deborah, sorry. So there those information. So it confirms that we have duplicates here. You could see these are the person here. Ignatius, even Krista. Yeah, so that is also another way for you to filter for you to identify duplicates. If they are duplicates, you just do a sort. Because again, if you sort with this employee type that you want to identify duplicates, that one doesn't make sense. But there are key things, for example, employee ID. Name sometimes might be similar, but there are unique things that identifies people. It could be the employee ID, it could be your national ID, uniquely identifies who Mariwa is and who Solomon is. It could also be, yeah, but you can't use things like gender or department to check for duplicates. So this one is what you could use as a to check for duplicates. So if you go to this data and then say first let's check how many rows of data do we have. So we have if I highlight that, then you can see here count 277. So if you subtract these employee data, then we have like 276 entries. You're seeing here, actually there is something written here count. Count is 277. So if we say remove duplicates, you see it has highlighted my data, and also you can see here my data has headers. If you uncheck it, then it's going to use all the data. But here we have my data as data. Then read this. It's telling that to delete duplicate values, select one or more columns that contain duplicates. Yeah. So we could uncheck these ones. Let us just uncheck them. Yeah. So instead of doing all that going mara moja moja, you could just click here, select all or unselect all. Yeah. So which column do you want to use to check for duplicates? So it's employee ID. Yeah. So we use the employee ID to check for duplicates, and then let's click on OK. So you can see 35 duplicate values found and removed. 241 unique values remain. So if you're happy with that, you click on OK. So right now, that step here, data cleaning your duplicates, done and dusted, right? So instead of going by filtering, yeah, you could do filtering and identify, but that will really be not sustainable in the long run. We are able to get that, Thumbs up. I'm a thumbs down for somebody who wants it. Yeah, so seeing quite a number of people. Yeah. So that is that. But I want to do a control Z, and so that we use that data for we repeat that same process in Power Query. Yeah. So let's check. So when you click here, get external data, right? You could say get data from MS Access, so that database, or get data from or get data from web. Yeah, so if there's data that is sitting in web platforms, so Google or any, you could go to the database of World Health Population and maybe you want to pick some data from there, or you could go to what? Maybe in Kaggle. For those who know what Kaggle is, the online repository for data. You could go to data.io. Maybe there's a data sitting there and you want to pick it. So from web, you'll be required to copy paste the link. Yeah, to paste the link to that data. And those data must be in tables. That is also another thing with getting data from the web. You could get data from text, you could get data from other data sources where you click here. So if you have a SQL server, you could import that table, that data into Excel. Yeah, for those who have Azure or from XML data import. Yeah, so there are various places that you could pick that data. Another thing is, so you could also develop of course, get data from a file. So if you have from a workbook, if you have data that was saved in, so these are Excel ways of saving data. So Excel could save data in .csv. It could save data in .xml, .xls, and also what? Yeah. So this one is .xls, the workbook. If you look at the extension that is there, it should be that. But also, you could be having data in a folder. There's a folder that you've always you've created that you throw in data there, right? So for example, let me show you what I mean. So not in downloads, but I have, for example, a folder like this. If you check here, there's this folder that I've named Hako, and also there's a folder that maybe I've named Ken Beauty. So inside this, because I'm receiving the same data every day in the same format, I could just be coming and pasting them into this folder. So you could look that this is it's a data, this is a data, this is a data, but they have exactly the same format, right? In terms of columns, headers, or what and what. So you could point Power Query to this folder to always be checking, is there new data in this folder so that it cleans it. So if you go to maybe even something like Ken Beauty, you could see that there are all these information that are the same, right? And even if you check today, there's data that I pushed in at 9:24. So I mean at 7:25 a.m. So I could always be pointing data into this. I could always be pointing Power Query into this so that it checks and finds the a new data, cleans it, right? Yeah. So that is where this what this folder we are talking about. So you could get data from a folder. So if I click here even right now from a folder, it will tell me what is the path to that folder. Then I browse and it takes me to where I want it to take me. So if I click maybe on PC, I want to go to documents. That folder is found in Kaskazi, and that folder is now found in maybe Hako, right? Or maybe this Ken Beauty. So if I click it there and click on OK, it has picked the path, right? That is a cancer. Yeah. So you could also get it from a database. We talked about these ones: SQL, MS Access, yeah, SQL Server Analysis, Oracle, MySQL. There's PostgreSQL. Yeah. So there are different places that you could get your data. Yeah. Even from Azure, for those who have Microsoft Azure or know about Microsoft, and all that. Yeah. So um, right now we could say, because our data is just sitting in an Excel, we could just say, so okay, we are starting now what you want to do. So the data that we want to clean is this data cleaning. This one I have named. Yeah, I mean it's when I downloaded it's named data cleaning in Excel. So this is the data that I want to look for. But again, you of course need to know where you've stored that data. So because I just downloaded it, it's in. I click from workbook. I had it in downloads, and that should be data cleaning in Excel, right? And then click on import. Yeah. So you click on import. So once you have clicked on that import, I believe you're able to see this. Okay. Thumbs up if you are there. You follow the same process, or you need me to repeat. Nathan is doing a thumbs up. Nathan, you've done both thumbs up and thumbs down. Which one should we trust? Valentine requesting for a repeat. Who else? Are we together? Radovan is okay. Who else is okay? There are some people who have not. Solomon is uh-huh. Amos, Hillary, AC. Okay. Now let's that's quite a lot. Okay, first, are you able to see these ones? Get external data or new query. If you're able to see new query, do a thumbs up. If you are able to see this, Valentine is able to see it. Radovan, Hillary, Aya. Nathan, are you here? Nathan Kiprop. I want to see those people who are not with me when I clicked on. Yeah. So let's click this this drop down, right? So if you click that, you'll see you're being asked from a file, from a database, from Azure, from other sources, right? There are very many sources. You could even pick it from Facebook. Yeah. Um, yeah, from Dynamics CRM online. Yeah, if you have a customer relationship management platform online, you will pick it from that. Um, yeah, but for us, we want to pick it from a file, then from workbook. So if you have your data saved in CSV, you click from CSV. If you have your data saved, it's text delimited, you pick it from this. Yeah, let's pick from workbook. So if I click from workbook, then I look for where am I storing my data, right? So for me, I just downloaded it. So downloads, it's under downloads. But if you have your data in the desktop folder, then you could go for that desktop. If you have your data in under pictures, go up under pictures. If you have it under documents, go and roll through the documents that you have so that you pick it there. But mine is under downloads. So under downloads, then I check the name. Of course, the name is data cleaning in Excel, and then I just import that. So once I click that import, I should be here. Who is not here? Amos Sumbi, what is the problem? Amos? Amos, unmute and speak, because at this point now we cannot help unless we listen to your problem. Anybody else who is still lagging behind? Have don't have the data query option. Where are you? Are you at this place? Are you in under data, Amos? Have you clicked data? Yes? So who is also saying that they can't see it? Nathan Kiprop can't see it. Derek is saying mine looks different. So how different does yours look, Derek? Nathan is saying it. Nathan, can you present? Sorry, Derek?
I don't have the option for new query.
New query.
It's
What
only
do
written get data.
yeah, you can click get data.
Oh, okay.
If you click get data, what happens?
It shows the options from file, from database.
Yeah, click from file.
Okay.
You get it now.
Yes.
Okay, solved. Amos, you don't have even forget data, or even Nathan.
I have get external data,
Uh-huh.
but when I press that, I'm getting from web, from access, and from text, and from other sources.
You don't have you don't have any and even here. Which ones do you have here?
It's after the get external data is refresh all.
Refresh?
All.
Uh-huh. Oh, okay. So what could be the issue? You don't have these ones for show queries from table.
Oh, just a minute. No.
Okay, that's funny. How about Nathan? You could mute. You'll present. We just see. Nathan. Oh, Nathan is okay. So this one for Amos. Amos, can you present? We just see if we can help. Amos.
Yes, I'm sharing.
Okay. Are you sharing?
Yes, I am.
But assuming you can't see me too, can't see your screen. Is anyone seeing Amos' screen? Okay. Under data.
Under data, we have this option of get from external.
I'm not even seeing whether you've clicked under data. I'm just seeing you're at home, Armanin.
Sorry. Let me. Can you see it now?
Can you click on data?
I've clicked on data.
I am not seeing. I'm not seeing what should be under the data ribbon, unless it's on my end. But I'm not seeing.
Maybe someone else could confirm.
Sorry.
Someone else could confirm it and they can see the screen.
Okay. Yeah, no, the screen we can see, but like we are not seeing you clicking data. Uh, Anybody seeing Amos under the data ribbon? Saga is not seeing. Yeah, so no one is seeing you under the data ribbon. Can you click the data? You are at home.
Now is it okay?
Oh yeah, we are not seeing it. Hmm. A book. What is contained under that refresh all? Uh, uh,
Refresh all is just that option. Refresh all, nothing else.
and what is contained here from other sources?
From other sources is the from SQL Server, from analysis, from Windows, from OData feed, from XML data import,
Uh-huh.
data connection wizard, and from Microsoft Query, the last one.
From?
Microsoft Query.
Yeah. You also just presented me. We are not seeing is a book. Can you just present entire screen and then click that from other sources? When presenting, click present entire screen. Just stop presenting and then present again.
Is the entire screen now visible?
Present.
It's not getting the option of entire screen. It's only for Windows and the Chrome.
Oh, Windows and Chrome. Okay. I would just try clicking the other options if they can lead you to a file. If you can find one for Excel. If not, then we maybe sort it when the class is done. Yeah,
Okay.
but try from other sources from text. Yeah, or you change how you're saving your data. But if you can't find one in Excel, I don't know why that is the case. But just try clicking here from other sources and see if one can lead you to Excel. Let me present and repeat what I had discussed. Yeah, so this will be quick. So for those who are at get data, mine is at new query. So I can just click new query and come to from file and then from workbook. And then I go to my downloads and get the data cleaning here, import, and then I get here. So all of us are here, save for maybe Amos, right? Yeah. So yeah, even Steve, yes, is now working. Okay. Yeah. So the next thing we do is you can see here it's telling us that no item selected. So what you just do is you click on this one, then preview is evaluating. Yeah. So this is the preview of the data. So the data in preview has been truncated due to size limits, reducing the number of columns or filtering may load model. Yeah. So you first highlight. So if you don't highlight this, if you don't highlight it, then you won't see this preview, or it won't lead you to anything. So you must first select data. Sometimes you may find that you have multiple tables here. You have even 10 or 12 tables. You've gotten that data from the web, but then there are so many tables that you're being shown. So you just click, you select the data that you want. So it gives you an option to select. Because we only have one, there's not that checkbox. There's always a checkbox here for you to select data. Let me try and yeah, I mean, if I click it from a folder, let me try and show you something here from file. So if I click from a folder, then I browse to the path. Where do we have it? So under this PC, then go to this PC. I could go to that and maybe pick this and try. Let me see if it's going to bring us those checkboxes. Yeah. So it has loaded this way because I've picked it from a folder. There's another process for you to, I mean, because the data are the same, they're in the same format. And from here, the next thing we could do is to click on these ones. That is combining data from a folder. But if they were contained in different, they are different formats, ingetuletea tables, and then we could select on the various tables that we want to work with. Yeah, but those data are of the same format kind of. So let me go back and just pick this one and run away with it. So if you don't select, no item selected. So you first come here and select. Yeah. So if you check hapa chini, there's something here. There's load. There's edit. So if you click on this checkbox, there's load to, and then there's load. So if you click load, don't click load. So if you click load, then it means you're very confident with this data. It is very clean. There's no need for you to look through it. But it's not always advisable for you to click load direct. It's always advisable that the first thing you do is edit. If you are working with the Power BI, so the Power BI query editor hapa inakuanga ni load transform. So here you'll find it written transform. So instead of that, you could say edit. So click on edit, don't click on load. So click edit. So once you're here, you could see some things. So there's this window, yeah, so there's that window. So you could look at this one. So there's home, there's transform. It basically looks more or less the same as what you have in Excel. So home, but then there's home, there's transform, there's add column, there's view. Yeah. If you check that also, you could see that there's a name. What is the name here? What is the name of your data? So it is dirty data. That is the worksheet that contained this data. It was named dirty data. So let me show you. So it has picked this name. It should be here. Let me. Okay, yeah. If you check, wait. If you check upper, you could see down here there is dirty data. So that is the name it has picked. If it was a sheet one, you could find here called sheet one. So if you don't like this name, you could change it to maybe a new name and say clean the data, or maybe unclean data. I mean, something unclean data, something that you think of. Yes, Amos. So unclean data here. Amos Sumbi, your hand is up. If you're speaking, you are on mute. Okay. Kindly enlarge your screen. Yeah, so can I zoom the Nini really? I can't zoom this one. There's this, unless, let me try to move it with my hands. No, it can't. I'm so sorry. It can only, yeah, it can't can't zoom. Yeah. So we have here unclean data. We've changed the name, but if you check on this applied steps part, yeah. So what Power Query has is it will document everything that you've done. So for example, right now what we have done, automatically it has done something promoted headers. So promoted headers. So initially they were in row number 1. So number 1 was employee ID, then name Evo, and then so number 2 was occupied by this information Minerva di Erika dot that one. So what Power Query has done automatically is to promote the first column to be the headers, right? Yeah. So again, something else that it has done for us is to change data type. Yeah. Power Query has changed for us data type. If you look at date here, you could automatically see that it has been cleaned, right? From what we had initially, right now it has been cleaned. Initially we had this. You could see 12 November 18, 9/2/29, right? March 5, 2018. So you could see that here now we have 3/5/2018. So initially this is what we had. So that is the beauty of Power Query. So Power Query automatically it could see some few things that you might correct. It corrects it for you even before you start. Yeah. Have you also noticed that? Who has noticed that in their Power Query? If you check on these applied steps, have you seen that? Yeah, Steve Andrew is confirming that ameweza kuliona hilo. Who else? Yeah, Hudson. Yeah, even Derek, Radovan, who else, and everybody else that has seen. Yeah. So that is that. So if you check also on this source, so Nathan is also seen that. If you check on this source, what does it tell you? It is telling you where I have gotten the data. I went through users, HP, downloads, then they picked the file that is named data cleaning. It's saving. So workbook, it's .xlsx. So it's a workbook. So if you want to change it, you can change what you want to change here, the source. Or you can browse and change the source of your data. But now that is cancelled. So we'll see something else. So now we have this data. We have not done cleaning it. So yesterday we looked at splitting columns. Before that, if you look at this corner, there is something that looks like a table. So if you click that drop down, you could see some things that so use first row as headers. So or add custom column, add index column, choose columns, remove duplicates, keep top rows, keep bottom rows, keep range of rows. You could see here, remove top rows, remove bottom rows, right? Remove alternate rows, remove errors, merge query. These are some functionalities that you could have. Let's say now I click use first row as headers. Java Madhan, have you seen what has happened? So the first row now has been taken as the header, the headers of our column. So column number 1, the heading is PR 00147, and the heading of column 2 is Minerva Rika dot. But once you realize that you've made that mistake, you can come back here to applied steps. So because these ones doesn't make sense to have it here. At null is the heading of this column. 105.4 is so if you're here, you can see there's a cross. So this cross we could just click it and then we are back to where we are. But something that you should not do is to click a cross yenye iko. So you go systematic. You start with this to undo what you've done, right? You start with this and go to this. You don't start with this. It will distort your data. Even if you try, it's telling you, are you sure you want to delete this step? Deleting this step may affect subsequent steps, which could cause your query to break. So you cancel. So you need to be systematic when undoing what you did. We're good with that, unless somebody needs that to be explained again. Yeah, but that should be a simple thing. Yeah. So if I am here on employee ID, name, gender, department, and I want to maybe split this column, employee ID, I can right click. If I right click, then I see some functionalities here. Remove other columns, duplicate column, remove duplicates, remove errors, change type. Yeah. So if I need to change this data type, yeah, of course Nini has done it for us automatically. For example, this one start date, it has changed it for us automatically. If you look at this and maybe click on change type, you can see that it has changed it into date. If you want it in time, you could click on time. If you want it in date time / time zone, you could click on that. But now we want this one. Change type, we don't want to change the type. Type is already in text. So these are data types also that we find in Excel. There could be decimals, so 1.2. So for example, this 0.9, you could think of it as a decimal number. There can be whole numbers, there can be currency. Whole numbers, for example, age of someone, or maybe, yeah, you could say maybe the age. And then there's time, there's date / time zone, where you have that the date is, so maybe the date when somebody was born. So you could even pick the exact time that the person was born, right? So it is 11th, 12th, 2018. Sorry, so this is 12th November 2018 as at 7:00 a.m. So if you go to the lowest, that person will probably be called Okinyi. Yeah, so somebody is born in the morning. So you could call him Okinyi, right? There is also, so that is changing the data types. You could change it using this, change the data type. You could also do transform. So if your data was in lower cases, you may want all of them to be in upper cases. Let's check it with this employee type and click on this, sorry, right click and then come here to transform and then say you want them in uppercase, right? So if you see here, now it is, all of them are, the data that we have under employee type, all of them are in uppercase. If you want it to be in a sentence case, or maybe you want to capitalize each word, so of course we'll only have F and T. So fixed is F is capitalized, T is capitalized. So we are capitalizing every word. And then maybe you do something like, so if you want to trim, this is what you use. So there is that trim function that we used. So you just click on trim. So trim the text. So it has removed extra spaces that we have here. Yeah. So those are, you could see the steps that we've covered. So let's say we want to split this employee ID. So you come here and say split column. And then you ask yourself, do you want to split the column by delimiter, which we also saw in Excel, right? But there's by delimiter and also there's by number of characters. These are things we covered yesterday. We are just seeing them in Power Query now. But you could say by number of characters because this one does not have a delimiter. Hakuna delimiter hapa. There is no space, there is no comma, there is no semicolon, there is no full colon, there is no nothing, right? So you come here and split column and say by number of characters. So how many characters do you want to split it? So we said yesterday that PR might be telling us what department the person is. So we write here 2 because we want 2 PR, SQ, VT, they are just 2 letters. So employee ID is defined by the department and also by the employee number. And then you ask yourself, specify the number of characters used to split the column. So you could say, if you say repeatedly, then it will split PR, then comes and again splits 00 ikiwa peke yake, then comes and speaks 14 ikiwa peke yake, then 7 of course will remain itself there. So you don't check this repeatedly. You could say once as far left as possible. So it will be picking from PR. But if you say once as far right as possible, then it will split 47. Then these are the ones remain. So you click on once as far left as possible and then click on OK. So if you see here, now we have employee ID 1 and then employee ID 2. So once we are here, we could now rename this column. You can just double click until your blue part is highlighted and then give it a new name and maybe say department. I want to write it as debt because we have another department here. So we are just using it as an example. Then you could say this one, double click and call it employee number. Employee number. Are we together? Thumbs up or down? Yeah, so we are together. Yeah, so that is splitting. So this same splitting that we did yesterday. So if we also wanted to split this work location, the same way we did that, you could split it into city and country, then you just come here and split column. But now here, instead of using number of characters, now we can use a delimiter. Then it will ask us, what is the delimiter? Delimiter, of course, here for us, it is comma. So it could be a comma or a space. But if you say space, New Zealand is going to be split. So if you say at each occurrence of the delimiter, you could say at the rightmost delimiter, at the leftmost delimiter. Here, what makes sense for us is what? Because it's a comma, I don't see a comma occurring twice. Yeah, so it could be safe for us to say at each occurrence of the delimiter because the comma is not occurring twice. So you could say, so here in this case, either of them works for this comma case that we have. It could be at the rightmost delimiter, it could be at the leftmost delimiter. Here it could also be even be at each occurrence of the delimiter. But if we have a space, at our delimiter is space, you'll need to reconsider your decision here. So let's probably stick with at the right. So I'll say okay. So if you check here, we have so this one you could call it city, and this one you could call it country. So you could also see that Nini is the cursor is already moving. So call this one country. Yeah. Yeah. So wait, it hasn't changed. Country. Name country already. Ah, sorry, close. So I renamed this one should be city, and then this one becomes country. Yes. So here you could also see a couple of nulls because this is a remote. It did not pick the country. What else? So that is that. Another thing will be, yeah, we've also seen how you can rename a column, which you can also just right click and come here, rename. See here, rename. Yeah. Something else, maybe there's a column that you want to delete. You could just highlight it this way. If I want to delete this salary, you could just highlight it and then click on remove column. So you could say remove columns, and then salary is gone. Let me do let me go back and clear that step or undo that step that I did. So you see, I selected this and then removed this specific column. Came here to remove columns and said remove columns. What happens if you click remove other columns? So you could click here remove under remove columns and say remove other columns. So once you remove other columns, those ones are gone. So you remain with the one that you selected. Yeah. But don't worry, because your data, you can always come back here and undo what you did. Yeah. Okay. Something else that you could do is remove duplicates. Yeah. So what is the let's see. So in this case, we want to remove the duplicates, but it should be, yeah, we wanted to use this department and whatever, this department depth, emp, and everything. So I could as well undo so that I have that nini back. Kuna hiyo column to split. Yeah. Let me try that mistake and see. Yeah, it yeah, it goes as it has actually messed the data. So you can see what has happened, and I can't get that step back. So I'll need to reload. So I'll discard that and reload it. I was just checking if it's making sense, and you see, terrible things have happened. Yeah. But you've seen the processes that we've gone through. I wanted us to use that column to remove the duplicates. Yeah, because if I use the one that I've already split, it is not going to understand. It is going to remove other duplicates that are not supposed to be removed. But let's use this employee ID and say remove duplicates. These are the things you could find them under this ribbon. So we've removed the remove duplicates, remove columns. You could also find even remove that column under this. Remove, there's remove other columns. So you could just select that and go to remove duplicates. So you can see here, it has removed for us duplicates. Yeah. So that we have 241. So actually, when we did it in Excel, we saw that 241 were remaining. But with the duplicates, they are supposed to be 277, I think so. Around that. So these ones are nulls. Yeah, so it's 276 Apple. Yeah. Yeah. So that if that makes sense, you could just click on remove duplicates. Yeah, so that is what I wanted. So if we also wanted split column is also here. There's what we did again for use first row as headers. It is also here, right? That is there. Let's see. Something else that we could be doing. Let me see what I did by that time. So yeah, we could split this by delimiter, by number of characters, and then I click to once as far left as possible, and then I rename this to depth, and then rename this to employee number. Then you just press enter. Then you come here and also even split this by delimiter. The delimiter is that, and call this one city, and then call this one country. And once that is done, we could also do something. So yesterday we also even before that, we could go to this gender. Gender, there is something that we mentioned that this, if it is null, then it could be prefer not to say, right? So just right click and say replace values. Here under replace values, you click replace, and then value to find. Value to find is null. Replace with prefer not to say. Prefer not to say. Prefer not to say. Then you say okay. So if you check, you can see now there's prefer not to say, there's prefer not to say, and prefer not to say. Same way, if let me see, there's something here. Okay, yeah. So if you have already also calculated even your mean, yeah, you could just come here and say replace values null. Which value do you want to replace it? Then insert that mean function, mean number that you had already found. There is also something that we need to do, and yeah, there's also even this null. So maybe this null is you can see the null under department. Probably this employee is no longer working with the company, right? So if you don't want that null, now you could just even come here and so there's this null here, or there's also missing values here. So what we could do is we could unselect them. So we don't want to see them in our data. So if you have null and also you have missing something here, probably you stopped working with Bounty Analytica, and so we just remove you out of the equation and click on OK. Yeah, so that right now our data, so we've done a filter. So right now our data is not having any null. Something else is what? Yeah, we did something here yesterday with this full-time, part-time, right? And so we may want to, there's something that is always called conditional column. I'm trying to think where it is. There's something called conditional column. Is it conditional or custom? Okay, let's try it with this custom. So create a new column based on a custom formula. Yes. So let's see this. So if you're here on add column, because we want to create a new column that is going to tell us whether this person, this employee, is a full-time or part-time. So and we used which formula yesterday? Which formula did we use yesterday, Derek? To tell us that? Derek?
The if
Yeah, we used the if function. So once you've highlighted that column, you could come here to add custom column. Yeah, in some, I don't know whether you're finding it called add condition of column. Yeah, but let's click on add custom column. Yeah, there's one that is always very direct. It's called, who is having conditional column? When you click on that add column, are you seeing conditional? Yeah, Lucy. Yeah, there is anybody else with conditional column? Let me check. So Radovan is also having it. Conditional column is always very direct. Derek, is it a question or you have a conditional column? Okay. Yeah. So with conditional column, it's very direct. Let me see this one. Available columns FTE. So then you write your formula here. So I didn't want to use this one. So we say if, so custom, so new column name, we could say full-time, part-time, full-time, stroke, full-time, part-time, full stroke part. Yeah, I've never used this custom column, but let's see if token literally expected. If FTE, okay, I'm seeing some errors, and I don't know what it's telling me about. Okay, let's, oh, okay, yeah, we'll see now we could work with it. So if insert, so I think this one is not supposed to be here. If FTE greater than 1, is it greater, is equaling to 1? Yeah, I've never used this one. Comma. If FTE greater than 1, yeah, just first time, let's see. And we'll call it full. Otherwise, part value false. Yeah, and this is interesting. Part token rate bracket expected. So how do we write this? If FTE, also seeing a comma here, invalid identifier. So if FTE is equaling to 1, no syntax error detected. So if FTE is equaling to 1, comma, then what should we write here? Part-time or full? Yeah, it's showing error. Yeah, I need to check this. I've never written this equation here, but with the conditional column, yeah, I'll need to see the syntax that needs to go here. This is actually meeting it for the first time. Because the commas are not working. But if you click OK, the if wasn't recognized. Make sure it's spelled correctly. Okay. Yeah, that one is not going to work for me. Let me just try to see if is equaling to FTE. No, this one is going to work, but I'll check it and see for those who have custom column. But if you have a condition of column, there is so I can't explain it without the conditional thing. Somebody to show us his part so that I tell you what happens. Amos, you have, not Amos, Lucy, you have conditional, the one that has conditional column, right? Yeah, you can just present, I show what is supposed to be, yeah, share your screen, what is supposed to be there. This custom one, I'll check it. Yeah, Lucy, just show your screen so that I tell you what is yeah, Lucy, just a minute.
What should it share?
Sorry? Wow, you're in a nice place, eh?
Let me confirm if it's sharing the right thing.
Yeah, it's sharing, but you're not seeing the Power Query editor.
Maybe I could stop sharing and then I share again.
Yeah. So that we finish up on that. Tomorrow we'll do data analytics, but using pivot tables. Yeah, this conditional column. Yeah, I'll need to. Kindly share. I'll check it. Okay. Yeah. Click on ile conditional. No, remove this part. We are not. We don't. You can hide this browser of yours on the top there. Uko juu. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. You've written. Okay. Where just remove it and then we start from selecting select the column. And you have a couple of missing values, column 14, 15. Okay, go back to, where was that FTE? Yeah, so click, you could now take us through. Click on the condition of column. So a column with conditions. Yeah, so this is what is supposed to be there. So you can see new column name, you could rename it to full stroke part. Yeah, full stroke part. Yeah, and then now go to the if. Yeah, so if, and then FTE, you click on FTE and then equals to. So under that operator, there are other things that you could just click on. Yeah, so if is equal to, does not equal to, is greater than, is greater than. So this is just similar to the code that we wrote yesterday with the if function. So you could say is equal to, so equals, and then under value write 1. So what is supposed to be there? Then you say that this guy is a fool. Otherwise, so else, there is else. Did we check the else function? But okay. So else, no, else function is in R and the Pythons. So else, you could say the person is part time, right? Yeah, part time, and then just click. So that is the function that is supposed to be written. Yeah, there's custom column. Mine doesn't have conditional column. So there's conditional column that is supposed to be there. And that is what I'm missing. Then you click on OK. So once you click on OK, now you can see the column that has been created there. Full-time, part-time, even. Anybody with a question on that? You can just stop presenting, Sasa. You can also add clause. Nathan is mentioning something that you could add. So let me resume. You could add a clause. In mine, which one, Nani? Nathan. Yeah, you could see mine doesn't have a. conditional column. I don't know why. Okay. Yeah. But that is what we wanted to also do on that end. So once your data is done, once you're done with all this editing and everything, then you need to, what do you do next? If somebody knows. So once you've confirmed all the cleaning that you wanted to do, what do you do next? Let me hear from who? There's somebody who hasn't spoken today. That is a person by the name Hudson. So you're done editing your data, or maybe you're done with the data analysis. So what do you do next? Hudson.
Yes, so I think next will be to load the data.
So the next thing you do is you load your data. Yeah. So you come here. So when you're here under home, there's this. Yeah. So you come here and click close and load. So let's close and load. So it's going to create for you a new sheet. Yeah. You can see here under what we had as dirty data, 232 rows have been loaded. Yeah. 232 rows loaded. Yeah. So I have a certain extension which if I hover it around the picture, it zooms it. And that is, I don't know whether you also seeing the same. But anyway, so this is our clean data Sasa, right? You could just close this. But if you have new data, I'll show you if you have new data, you could come there and refresh. So our data is done. So you're done cleaning data. Everything else, check, which is sawa. Now you go to the process of data analytics. The good thing about this is there's that time when we are freezing data so that we maintain the top row. But the moment you start scrolling heavy, it ends up putting for you the columns. You can see now here we have this top column. Unless you go outside the data. So that is that. Let's see something here. Let me see. I want to check something. If I copy Control Z, if I have new data and I copy and paste it, I just want to confirm if it's working. So this is 232 rows. Let me copy this one up to here. Copy and then paste it. So paste it. Go back to my sheet 2. Let me refresh and see what is happening. Still it's telling us 232 row. Wait. It's not. I wanted to confirm if it's able to refresh. So it's still 232. If you refresh preview, just to confirm if it's picking any new data. Yes. Somebody is Valentine. You're saying something. And there's.
Yes, I have seen how you can write the formula when you're using the custom option in Power Query. I've pasted it in the chat.
Let me check. So it's not bringing errors with the
if here is lower cases, it's not in uppercase.
Let me go back and see. And see what we could get there. So this still 232 data, rest of data loaded. Anyway, I'll check what we are able to get with that. Yeah, so once this data is clean, now you can do any other thing. And what we are going to do tomorrow is just an intro before we could go back to the query that we had. Let me first check something here. If you refresh it, okay, it's still 232 rows a day. Yeah, but if this data is clean and then you are done with your cleaning, the next thing you could do is to go and insert a pivot table. So tomorrow, I mean, that is not the next step, but because tomorrow we are learning about pivot tables, then we could now insert a pivot table here and ease in our data analytics process. So once we do that, so this is what Lucy did. So you go and it has picked for us the table range, and the table range is dirty data, is what we call the dirty data. So you could see the name of our table here is dirty data. So dirty underscore data. So you could click here, okay, and then now it takes you through. Before that, let me go back and say insert pivot table. So new worksheet, if you want it to be in a new worksheet, you say, if you want your table to be just your pivot table to be located in existing worksheet, so if you click this, it will ask you for the location, and then you click on this red button here, and then you select where you want the pivot table to be. So you, of course, you not want it to be placed over your data, so you could maybe select a region here, any size, and click back on this and say okay. So here you can see there's a table here that has been created, pivot table. So if you click on it, so let me hide this workbook query. If you click on it, yeah, you can see pivot table fields. So it's 813. Okay. So we stop at 8. Let's stop at 820. So once you click here, you could see you have pivot fields. Under pivot fields, you have filters, columns, rows. So what could you be interested to see? Let's look at sheet 2. No, sheet 1. Yeah, we had this data here. So you could see department, you could see employee number, you could see name, gender. Yeah. So we may want to see what is the number of females, or maybe what is the distribution by gender. So we go back to maybe our sheet 2. So right now let's use sheet 2 and click on gender. If you click on gender, it takes you to rows. But then we want to see the number of males, the number of females, the number of those who preferred not to say. I'll still pick this gender and bring it back to values. So here I can easily see, so once I'm here, there is count of gender. So there is count. You could select it and go to value field settings. There is count, there is sum, there is average, there is max, there is mean. You can pick on sum. I mean, if you pick on sum, you get 0 because you're not summing these string variables. We just want to count them. Sum is preferable for numeric values. So prefer female, male prefer not to say. So you can outwardly see that male are the highest with 113, right? And female 112 and prefer not to say are 7. Total number of respondents are 232. So that is one thing that you could do. Once you have this data, you can copy it and maybe paste it somewhere, paste values. So you can use this now for some analysis that you want to do. Another thing, once I click back here, you can see that pivot tables are many. I may want to are showing again. I want to remove it. If I click on what? I want to see name, not a name, but let's say department. We want to see the earnings by department. Then I can click salary. Not this one, but I want salary to be in values. I don't want count of salary. I want sum of salary. So with this you could check that which department is earning the lowest, which is marketing. I mean, expenses in either the lowest, which is marketing. So we are only expensing 773,295. Think of it as Kenyan shillings or maybe even dollars. So that is also something. Once you have this information, you could copy it and maybe paste it somewhere. But if you want to analyze these things individually, kila moja ikae kwa sheet yake, then you might need to create numerous pivot tables, right? So once I do this, pengine hii you only wanted it for information hii cells, raw cells or whatever. You could put it here. If you want maybe another pivot table ikuwe hapa, you just come to worksheet, insert pivot table, and then say existing work location, and then click on this. Then you may want to arrange them, those pivot tables zikuwe hapa. You could just click on that and say enter and click on OK. Then you have a pivot table for you to build here. So you come and build another one. If it's salary by gender, and then you say gender salary ikuwe hapa, and then you can see we don't want the count, we want the sum. Value field setting, sum, OK. And then see that the ones earning the highest are the male. Yeah, male 747,677. But this one is 7,694,000. Yeah, so that's it. So if you want another pivot table, you just come, you just decide where you want to place them and click on maybe existing worksheet, click on OK. Okay, click on this, and then we want it to be maybe Apple. Enter, OK, come here and build our pivot table again, right? So you could also play around with that data, and tomorrow with that dirty data, clean it and analyze it. Do those kind of scenarios, and then we see it tomorrow. Today it's Hillary, Lucy, and who else? And somebody else presented. So tomorrow it will also be another person. So use that dirty data, do it, and then analyze it, and even do some graphs or pie charts and everything kindly, so that we see that tomorrow, right? Because that is basically, it will form part of. So tomorrow I will come with the data that that I use, a sales data that I'm using, but of course I'll remove the client's name. So itakuwa ni, or I can just send it to you people right now. Work on it, try doing the analysis, and then present. So it is not going to be theoretical data. It's a real data. So I want to give you a data that has. I'll remove the phone numbers. Remove what else? Yeah, so the phone numbers and the client's name, so that you try working on it. It's clean already, so don't worry about cleaning it. Any question? Any question?